The first thing I forgot was her name. The second thing I forgot was why my heart broke every time I saw the moon. The third thing I forgot was that I had once loved a witch. I woke up in a forest with blood on my hands and a silver ring around my finger. I did not know where I was. I did not know how I had gotten there. And most frightening of all, I did not know why a woman was crying beside me. She looked about 25, with long black hair falling over her shoulders and eyes so red that it seemed she had not slept for days. When she saw my eyes open, she covered her mouth. Then she whispered a name. Lena. I stared at her. Who is Lena? The woman froze. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then she smiled. It was the saddest smile I had ever seen. You really forgot me. I should have felt something. Fear. Confusion. Anger. Anything. Instead, I felt strangely calm. And then she smiled again. Something inside my chest cracked. Not painfully. Not completely. Just enough for one impossible thought to enter my mind. I know that smile. I reached toward her without thinking. She immediately stepped backward. Do not. Her voice trembled. I lowered my hand. Who are you? She looked at me for a long time. My name is Mira. Mira, I repeated. The moment I said it, a strange warmth spread through my chest. She noticed. Her eyes widened. You remember. Remember what? She shook her head. Nothing. Then she turned away. I noticed something strange on her wrist. A black mark shaped like a crescent moon. It was glowing. Mira. She stopped. What happened to your wrist? She pulled her sleeve over it. Nothing. You're lying. I know. There was something about the way she said it that made me believe her. Before I could ask another question, the forest went silent. No birds. No insects. Not even the sound of wind moving through the trees. Mira looked toward the darkness between the trees. They found you. Who? She grabbed my hand. Her fingers were cold. Run. We ran. I had no idea who was chasing us, but Mira moved through the forest like she had memorized every tree. Behind us came a low growl. Then another. I looked back. 3 figures were standing between the trees. They were wearing white robes. Their faces were hidden behind silver masks. One of them raised a hand. A burst of blue light struck the ground beside us. Mira pulled me down. Stay behind me. You can use magic? She looked at me. You used to love that about me. The words stopped me cold. You said I used to. She closed her eyes. I should not have said that. Another blast struck the tree above us. Mira grabbed my face. Listen to me, Lena. Her hands were shaking. You cannot let them take you. Why? Because if they take you, you will remember everything. I stared at her. Then why would that be bad? She looked terrified. Because you will remember why I cursed you. My heart stopped. You cursed me. Mira nodded. I made you forget me. Why? Her lips trembled. Because you were going to die. Before I could answer, the masked figures appeared behind us. Mira pushed me away. A wall of fire erupted between us and the strangers. Go. I am not leaving you. You already did once. Her words hurt more than they should have. I ran anyway. Not because I wanted to. Because something inside me told me to trust her. I reached the edge of the forest and turned around. Mira was standing alone. The flames were disappearing. The masked figures surrounded her. She looked directly at me. And then she smiled. That smile. The same smile I had seen when I woke up. The same smile that made my heart ache for something I could not remember. She whispered something. I could not hear it. Then the world went dark. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying in a small village house. An old woman was sitting beside my bed. You are lucky to be alive. Where is Mira? The old woman stared at me. Who? Mira. The old woman became pale. There is no Mira. Yes, there is. No. She leaned closer. Child, there has never been a witch named Mira in this village. My fingers tightened around the silver ring. But I know her. The old woman looked at the ring. Then she stood so quickly that her chair fell backward. Take that off. Why? Because that ring belongs to the dead. I looked down. There was something engraved inside it. 3 words. Words I could somehow read without knowing how. I whispered them aloud. I will remember. The old woman began to cry. And then I heard a voice behind me. Soft. Familiar. Impossible. That is what I was afraid of. I turned. Mira was standing in the doorway. But this time, she was covered in blood. And behind her stood the three masked figures. One of them removed his mask. My breath caught. Because I knew his face. He was me. Older. Scarred. And dead. Or at least, he should have been. The older version of me looked directly into my eyes. Then he said, "Do not trust the witch." Mira whispered, "Do not trust yourself." And suddenly, I remembered her smile. I remembered her smile. But I did not remember her face. That was the cruelest part. I knew the curve of her lips. I knew the warmth hidden behind that smile. I knew the way my heart reacted whenever she looked at me. Yet when I tried to remember her face, my mind gave me darkness. Mira stood in the doorway, covered in blood. The three masked figures stood behind her. And beside them was another version of me. Older. Scarred. Dead. Or at least, that was what I believed. The older man stared at me with eyes that were exactly like mine. "Do not trust the witch," he repeated. Mira looked at him with hatred. "She is already awake." The older version of me smiled. Good. I climbed out of the bed. "Who are you?" He looked at Mira. "Tell her." Mira said nothing. I stepped closer. "Tell me who he is." "He is you." My stomach twisted. "No." "Yes." "That is impossible." Mira looked at me. "You have said that before." The older man laughed. "You always say that before everything falls apart." I looked at the three masked figures. "Who are they?" The man in the center removed his mask. He was an old man with silver hair and a deep scar across his cheek. "We are the keepers." "What do you keep?" "Time." The room became silent. I almost laughed. Instead, Mira whispered, "Do not listen to them." The old keeper looked at her. "You stole her from us." "I saved her." "You destroyed the balance." "I destroyed nothing." The older version of me stepped forward. "You destroyed everything." Mira's face changed. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. The older me pointed at the silver ring around my finger. "That ring is a prison." I stared at it. "Why can I not remove it?" "Because it is not on your finger." He paused. "It is inside you." I felt cold. "What does that mean?" He smiled. "It means the girl you remember is not the girl you lost." Mira suddenly moved. A flash of purple light filled the room. The keepers disappeared. The older version of me disappeared with them. I stumbled backward. Mira caught me. Her arms wrapped around my waist. For 1 second, everything felt familiar. Too familiar. I closed my eyes. And I saw us. Mira and me. Standing beneath a tree covered in white flowers. She was laughing. I was holding her hand. She leaned toward me. I whispered, "I will find you in every life." She smiled. Then the vision changed. Mira was screaming. There was fire everywhere. I was lying on the ground. Blood covered my chest. Mira was holding me. "No." Her voice echoed through my mind. "No, no, no." I heard myself whisper, "Do not cry." She pressed her forehead against mine. "I can save you." "You cannot." "I can." "Mira." "I can." She kissed me. Then everything became black. I opened my eyes. Mira was still holding me. Tears were running down her face. "You saw it." I nodded. "Was that real?" She looked away. "Yes." "Did I die?" She did not answer. "Mira." "Yes." The word came out almost silently. "You died." I looked at my hands. "Then who am I?" Mira slowly sat down. "I do not know. You brought me back." I tried. "How many times?" She looked at me. 7. I could not breathe. 7. 7 times you died. And every time? I cursed your memories. Why? Because every time you remembered me, you came looking for me. She swallowed. And every time you came looking for me, the keepers found you. I looked at the door. What happens when they find me? They kill you. And then, I bring you back. I stared at her. You have been doing this for how long? Mira closed her eyes. 112 years. The room seemed to tilt. You are not 25. No. How old are you? 137. I stepped away from her. Why do you keep saving me? She looked at me. Her eyes were filled with exhaustion. Because I promised you. What did I promise? You promised that if you died, I would never let you disappear. I looked at the silver ring. And the curse. Mira touched it. You begged me to use it. Why? Because the keepers had discovered something. What? Mira's fingers trembled. They discovered that your soul does not belong to this time. I frowned. What does that mean? It means you were never supposed to be born. The words hit harder than any spell. Mira continued. You are the daughter of a woman who died 300 years before you were born. I stared at her. That makes no sense. It will. She reached beneath her cloak and pulled out a small wooden box. She placed it on the table. I have been hiding this for more than a century. What is inside? The truth. She opened it. Inside was a single photograph. I picked it up. It showed a young woman standing beside Mira. The woman had my face. Exactly my face. But there was something written beneath the photograph. A date. 300 years ago. My hands began shaking. Who is she? Mira whispered, your first life. I looked at her. Then why do I look exactly like her? Mira's eyes filled with tears. Because you are not being reborn. She touched my cheek. You are being rebuilt. Before I could ask what she meant, the window exploded. A silver arrow struck the wall beside my head. Mira screamed. Down. We dropped to the floor. Outside, hundreds of blue lights appeared between the trees. The keepers had found us. But this time, they were not alone. A voice echoed through the village. Bring us the witch. Then another voice spoke. It was my own voice. Older, colder, and filled with rage. Bring us Lena alive. Mira stared at me. They're not here to kill you. Then why? She slowly stood. Her face had gone completely pale. They want to use you. For what? Mira looked toward the window. To open the door. What door? She looked back at me. The door between the living world and the dead. A terrible silence followed. Then someone knocked on the front door. 3 slow knocks. Mira grabbed my hand. Whatever happens, do not open it. The knocking came again. 3 times. Then a woman's voice whispered from the other side. Lena. My heart stopped. Because I knew that voice. It was my own voice. But it was crying. Please. The voice whispered again. Please let me out. Mira looked at me in horror. And for the first time since I had met her, she looked truly afraid. Because she knew what was standing outside. I did not. But the silver ring around my finger suddenly began to glow. And from somewhere inside my mind, a memory whispered, she is not outside. She is inside you. The voice outside the door whispered my name again. Lena. I could hear her crying. Please let me out. I stared at Mira. What does she mean? Mira did not answer. The voice came again. Please, Lena. I stepped toward the door. Mira grabbed my wrist. No. She sounds like me. She is not you. Then who is she? Mira looked at the silver ring. Something you were never supposed to remember. The knocking stopped. For several seconds, there was complete silence. Then the door opened by itself. Cold air rushed into the room. Nobody stood outside. Only darkness. Mira raised her hand. A small purple flame appeared above her palm. She walked toward the doorway. I followed. Outside, the village was empty. Every house had its doors open. Every window was dark. Not a single person was outside. Mira. She stopped. What happened to everyone? They ran. From the keepers? She shook her head. From you. I felt a chill. Why would they run from me? Mira looked at the ground. There were footprints in the mud. Hundreds of them. All leading away from the village. But there was one set of footprints coming toward us. Bare feet. Small. Wet. They stopped directly in front of me. Then I heard a whisper. Finally. I looked around. Nothing. Mira suddenly pushed me behind her. A shadow appeared between the trees. It looked like a woman. The shape moved closer. She had my body. My hair. my face. But her eyes were completely black. She smiled. And I knew that smile. It was mine. The shadow whispered, "You took so long." Mira raised her hand. "Stay away from her." The shadow laughed. "You always say that." Mira's expression hardened. "I will destroy you." "You tried." The shadow looked at me. 7 times. My chest tightened. "Who are you?" She smiled. "I am the part of you that remembers." I stared at her. "What?" "You forgot everything." She pointed at Mira. "She made you forget." Then she pointed at herself. "But she could not erase me." Mira whispered, "Do not listen." The shadow continued. "Every time you die, she rebuilds you." I looked at Mira. "Is that true?" Mira lowered her hand. "Yes." "How?" "With magic." The shadow laughed. "With forbidden magic." Mira shouted, "Enough." The ground shook. The shadow disappeared. Then Mira collapsed. I caught her before she hit the ground. Her skin was burning. "What happened?" "She is inside your mind." "Can you remove her?" "No." "Why?" "Because she is you." I looked at Mira. "Then what does she want?" Mira closed her eyes. "To be remembered." I carried her back into the house. She was barely conscious. I placed her on the bed. "Tell me everything." She opened her eyes. "You are not ready." "I am tired of being told that." She remained silent. I held up the photograph. "Who is this woman?" Mira stared at it. "Her name was Lena." "Lena?" "Yes." "She was my first life?" Mira nodded. "She was the first person I loved." I froze. "You loved her?" Mira looked directly into my eyes. "Yes." "Then why do I feel like I loved you?" "Because you did." My breath caught. Mira reached toward me. I let her take my hand. "Every life, you found me." She smiled faintly. "Sometimes you were a soldier. Sometimes a healer." She laughed softly. "Once you were a thief." I smiled. "Was I good at it?" "You stole my heart." She immediately looked away. The warmth in my chest returned. Then the house shook. Mira stood. "We have to leave." "Why?" "Because they are coming." "Again?" "This time they will not stop." We ran through the back door. The forest was dark. Mira held my hand as we moved. After several minutes, we reached a stone bridge. On the other side stood a ruined castle. Mira stopped. "We are safe here." I looked at the castle. "Why?" "Because the keepers cannot enter." "Why not?" "Because this was your home." I stared at her. "My home? You built it." "I do not remember." "You were not supposed to." We entered the castle. Inside, dust covered everything. Yet there were flowers on the table. Fresh flowers. White flowers. The same flowers from my memory. I walked toward them. My fingers touched one. A sudden memory hit me. Mira and I were standing in this exact room. She was wearing a white dress. I was holding a ring. She was crying. I was smiling. I heard my own voice. "Mira, if I ever forget you." She answered, "You will." I laughed. "No. You always do." "Then make me remember." She shook her head. "I cannot." I took her face in my hands. "Then remember for both of us." The memory vanished. I stumbled backward. Mira caught me. "You saw it." I nodded. "That was our wedding." Mira's eyes filled with tears. "We were married?" "Yes." "Then why did I die?" Mira looked away. "Because the wedding was a trap." I felt something cold behind me. A voice whispered, "No." I turned. The shadow girl stood at the end of the hall. She was smiling. Mira stepped in front of me. The shadow shook her head. "She is lying." "Lying about what?" The shadow pointed toward Mira. "She did not curse you because she wanted to save you." I looked at Mira. The shadow continued. "She cursed you because you discovered what she had done." Mira's face went pale. "What did you do?" I asked. She said nothing. The shadow smiled. "You should ask her who killed you the first time." Mira whispered, "Please." I stepped toward her. "Who killed me?" She closed her eyes. I did. The castle became silent. My heart seemed to stop. "You killed me." Mira began to cry. "I had no choice." The shadow laughed. "She always says that." I looked at Mira. Tell me the truth. She wiped her tears. You were going to open the door. What door? The door between life and death. Why? Because you wanted to bring someone back. Who? Mira looked at me. You. I stared at her. I was trying to bring you back? No. She shook her head. You were trying to bring back someone else. The shadow stepped closer. Then she whispered me. I felt the silver ring burn against my finger. The castle walls began to shake. A hidden door opened beneath the floor. And from the darkness below came hundreds of voices. All of them whispered the same words. Lena. Mira grabbed my hand. We have to go. But I could not move. Because among those voices, I heard one that I knew better than my own. My mother's voice. She whispered, do not trust Mira. And then another voice followed. My own. Do not trust me. The shadow smiled. Now you are ready to remember. The door beneath the castle was breathing. I could hear it. A slow sound came from the darkness below. In. Out. In. Out. Like something enormous was sleeping beneath the earth. Mira stood beside me. Her face was pale. Lena, we cannot stay here. I looked at her. You killed me. I know. You lied to me. I know. You erased my memories. I know. Then why should I trust you? Mira looked at me for several seconds. You should not. That answer hurt more than anything else. She stepped toward the door. But you should understand why. She touched the stone beside the entrance. A circle of purple light appeared. Images began moving across the wall. I saw myself. Not as I was now. As I had been 300 years ago. Lena. I watched her walking through the same castle. She was carrying a small child. A baby. My heart tightened. Who is that? Mira looked at the image. Your sister. I stared at her. I had a sister? Yes. What happened to her? The image changed. Soldiers entered the castle. They carried silver weapons. Lena hid the baby. Then the castle filled with fire. I watched Lena run toward a man wearing a silver crown. The man raised his hand. A blade of light struck her chest. She fell. I covered my mouth. Who is he? The first keeper. Why did he kill me? He believed your blood could open the door. The image changed again. Lena stood before the hidden door. She was bleeding. She held the baby in her arms. Then she turned toward Mira. I looked at her. Mira was there. Yes. What was she doing? Trying to save you. The image showed Mira taking the baby. Lena grabbed her arm. Take her. Mira cried. I cannot. You must. She will die without you. Lena smiled. Then find her again. The image disappeared. I stared at Mira. That baby was me. She nodded. You were not born 300 years ago. You said I was. I said you were rebuilt. I understood. My soul survived. Yes. And you carried it? Yes. All these years. Yes. Why? Mira looked at me. Because I promised Lena. I swallowed. What was the promise? Mira's eyes filled with tears. I promised I would love you until you remembered who you were. The words silenced me. Then the door beneath the castle opened. A wind rushed out. Hundreds of whispers filled the room. I heard names, faces, memories, lives. Then I heard my own voice. Mira. She grabbed my hand. Do not listen. But the darkness had already reached me. I saw another memory. I was standing before the door. Mira was beside me. I was older. Much older. My hair was white. My hands were shaking. The door was open. Something was coming through. Mira was screaming. Close it. I said I cannot. Why? Because she is there. Who? I pointed into the darkness. My mother. Mira grabbed me. Your mother has been dead for centuries. I know. Then what are you seeing? I smiled. The truth. The memory ended. I fell to my knees. Mira crouched beside me. What did you see? My mother. That was not a memory. What? It was a warning. The castle shook. The shadow girl appeared behind Mira. She is getting closer. Mira turned. Leave her alone. The shadow smiled. You cannot protect her forever. Watch me. The shadow looked at me. Do you want to know why she really killed you? I looked at Mira. She whispered, no. The shadow continued. Because you asked her to. I froze. What? Mira closed her eyes. The shadow stepped closer. You discovered that your soul was being used as a key. I looked at Mira. You knew? Yes. And I asked you to kill me? Yes. Why? Because there was no other way to stop the door. The shadow laughed. You were not trying to save her. She pointed at Mira. You were trying to save everyone. I looked at Mira. Then why did you keep bringing me back? Mira's voice broke. Because I could not let you stay dead. The shadow whispered, and that is why she doomed the world. A loud crack echoed through the castle. The hidden door opened wider. Black smoke poured into the room. Mira grabbed my hand. We have to leave. We ran upstairs. The castle doors slammed shut behind us. Outside, the sky had changed. The moon was red. The village was burning in the distance. And the keepers were standing on the hill. Hundreds of them. At their center stood the older version of me. He removed his cloak. There were scars across his entire body. He looked at me. You finally remembered. I stepped forward. Who are you? He smiled. The last version of you. Mira moved in front of me. He laughed. You still protect her. You will not touch her. I do not need to. He looked at me. She will destroy herself. I stared at him. Why? He pointed toward the castle. Because the door is open. A deep sound came from underground. Something was waking. The older me continued. And when it wakes completely, every dead soul will return. I looked at Mira. What happens then? She whispered, the living will become the dead. The older me smiled. Unless Lena takes her place. My heart stopped. What does that mean? Mira stepped forward. No. The older me looked at her. You know what it means. I turned toward Mira. Tell me. She shook her head. Lena. Tell me. You have to become the new keeper. I stared at her. Forever? Mira began crying. Yes. And if I refuse? The older me answered. Everyone dies. I looked at the burning village. Then at Mira. Then at the castle. Something inside me whispered that I had seen this moment before. Not once. Not 7 times. Hundreds. I looked at my silver ring. The words engraved inside it began glowing. I will remember. But another sentence appeared beneath them. One I had never seen before. I will remember why I chose you. I looked at Mira. What did I choose? She could barely speak. You chose me. Instead of what? She looked toward the castle. Instead of eternity. Then the shadow girl appeared beside me. She leaned toward my ear. And whispered, now ask her what she promised the dead. The question remained between us. What did you promise the dead? Mira did not answer. The older version of me watched silently from the hill. The keepers stood behind him. The red moon hung above them. I stepped closer to Mira. Tell me. She looked at the ground. I promised them you. My heart sank. What does that mean? The dead agreed to leave the living world alone. She raised her eyes. In exchange, they wanted your soul. I stared at her. Why mine? Because your soul can cross the boundary. The door. She nodded. You are the only person who can open it. And the only person who can close it. Yes. The shadow girl laughed. But she broke the promise. Mira looked at her. I changed my mind. You always do. The shadow turned toward me. That is why she has been running for 112 years. I looked at Mira. Running from what? From the dead. The ground suddenly shook. A crack opened across the hill. One of the keepers fell into it. He screamed. Then dozens of pale hands reached from the darkness. The keepers began retreating. The older version of me remained still. You see now. He looked at me. They are coming. I stared at the hands. What do they want? You. I felt Mira grab my arm. We need to leave. No. She looked at me. No. I am tired of running. I stepped toward the crack. The dead hands stopped moving. Everything became silent. Then a woman climbed out. She was old. Her hair was white. Her face was burned. But I knew her. My mother. My knees nearly gave out. Mom? She smiled. Hello, Lena. I began crying. You know me. I have always known you. Mira stood behind me. My mother looked at her. You kept your promise. Mira shook her head. I failed. My mother smiled. No. She looked at me. You loved her. I turned toward Mira. Did you know my mother was still alive? Mira whispered, she is not alive. My mother laughed. I died a long time ago. She stepped closer. But death is not what you think it is. She touched my cheek. You have been looking for me. I do not remember. You were never meant to. She looked at Mira. She protected you from the truth. What truth? My mother sighed. The first keeper was your father. I froze. The older version of me lowered his head. My mother continued. He wanted your soul because he believed it could make him immortal. Did he kill you? Yes. Did he kill Lena? Yes. Why did he not kill me? Because Mira took you. I looked at Mira. Then why did she curse me? My mother smiled sadly. Because your father found you. What? He found you 7 times. My blood ran cold. Every time you were reborn, he found you. Mira closed her eyes. Every time, I erased your memories. My mother nodded. And every time, you fell in love with her again. I looked at Mira. She was crying. How many times? 7. And this is the 8th? Mira shook her head. No. I frowned. This is the 9th. I felt dizzy. What? The first life was Lena. She touched my ring. Then came 7 rebirths. She looked at me. This is the 9th. The older version of me finally spoke. And the last. I looked at him. Why? Because there will be no 10th. The sky suddenly darkened. The red moon disappeared. The dead began rising from the ground. Thousands of souls emerged across the valley. The keepers raised their weapons. The older me shouted, "Do not fight them." Everyone stopped. He looked at me. They are not attacking. I watched the dead move toward me. They formed a circle. My mother stood in front of them. You have a choice. What choice? Become the keeper. Mira stepped forward. No. My mother continued. Or destroy the door forever. How? You must destroy the thing that created it. I looked at the castle. The door. No. She looked at Mira. The curse. Mira's eyes widened. No. My mother nodded. The curse is keeping the door open. I turned toward Mira. Is that true? She could not speak. The older version of me answered. Yes. I stared at Mira. You cursed me 9 times. I was trying to save you. But the curse kept the door open. Yes. And every time you brought me back, the door became stronger. Mira started crying. I know. The truth hit me. She had been trying to save me. But every time she saved me, she had brought the world closer to destruction. The shadow girl stepped beside me. Now you understand. I looked at her. What happens if the curse is broken? She smiled. You remember everything. And Mira? She dies. Mira looked at me. I am sorry. The words were barely audible. I stepped closer. You knew. Yes. You knew breaking the curse would kill you. Yes. Then why did you keep me alive? Mira smiled. Because I was selfish. She touched my face. I wanted one more life with you. Tears filled my eyes. How long do you have? Until sunrise. I looked toward the horizon. The sky was beginning to brighten. Only a few hours remained. The older version of me raised his hand. The choice must be made before the sun rises. I looked at the dead. At the castle. At Mira. At the shadow girl. Then I looked at my silver ring. The engraving had changed again. I will remember. I will remember why I chose you. A third line appeared. And I finally understood what it meant. I had not been cursed to forget Mira. I had been cursed to forget myself. I looked at the shadow girl. You are not my enemy. She smiled. No. You are everything I buried. Yes. And if I remember everything, you become whole. I turned toward Mira. What happens to the witch who cursed me? The shadow looked at her. That depends. On what? Whether you remember why she did it. Mira took my hand. Her fingers were cold. Please do not remember. I squeezed her hand. I have spent 300 years forgetting. I smiled through my tears. I think it is time I remembered. The sun began rising. The curse began to crack. And somewhere deep beneath the castle, the door screamed. Mira looked at me. For the first time, she smiled without sadness. Then she whispered, "Goodbye, Lena." I held her tighter. "No." She looked surprised. I kissed her forehead. "You promised to find me in every life." She smiled. "I did. Then I will find you in the next." The curse shattered. And every memory came back at once. The curse shattered. And every memory came back. Not slowly. Not gently. They came like a storm. I remembered the first time I met Mira. I remembered the first time she smiled. I remembered our first kiss. I remembered our wedding. I remembered my death. Then another life. And another. And another. 7 lives. 7 deaths. 7 times I found her. 7 times I loved her. 7 times she erased me. But there was something else. Something hidden beneath all those memories. Something Mira had never told me. I saw myself standing before the door. Not as Lena. Not as the woman I was now. But as something older. Something powerful. I was holding a sword made of light. Mira stood beside me. The first keeper stood opposite us. My father. He was smiling. "You cannot kill me." I raised the sword. "I know." "Then why are you here?" I looked at Mira. "Because she asked me to." My father laughed. "She is afraid of what you will become." Mira shouted, "Do not listen to him." My father looked at her. "You know the truth." Mira's face became pale. "You know what happens if she remembers." I looked at Mira. "What happens?" My father smiled. "She becomes the keeper." The memory changed. I saw myself attacking my father. Light exploded around us. Mira screamed. The door opened. Thousands of souls escaped. I fell to the ground. My father disappeared. And Mira ran toward me. She held me. I whispered, "Kill me." She shook her head. "No. Kill me. I cannot. If I stay alive, the door stays open. I will find another way." "There is no other way," she cried. I smiled. "You promised me." "What?" "That you would never let me become a monster." She pressed her forehead against mine. "I promise." Then she killed me. The memory ended. I fell to my knees. Mira was beside me. I looked at her. "You kept your promise." She began crying. I hated myself for it. "You should not have." "I killed the woman I loved." "You saved the world." "Then why did I bring you back?" I smiled. "Because you loved me more than you loved the world." She looked at me. "That is not something to be proud of." "No." I reached for her hand. "But it is human." The sun was rising. The curse was gone. The door beneath the castle was closing. But something was wrong. The dead were not disappearing. They were gathering. My mother stood among them. She looked at me. "You remembered everything." "Yes." "Then you know what must happen." I nodded. Mira stepped forward. "No." My mother looked at her. "You knew this day would come." I hoped it would not. I looked at the door. "What happens now?" My mother answered, "The door needs a soul to close it." I understood. "Mine." Mira grabbed my arm. "No. There is no other way. There is always another way." I looked at her. "You said that before." And I was wrong. The older version of me stepped forward. "There is another way." We both looked at him. He removed the scars from his face with his fingers. The skin beneath them began changing. The older man disappeared. In his place stood a young woman. She looked exactly like me. My breath stopped. She smiled. "I am not your future." She looked at Mira. "I am your past." Mira stepped backward. "No." The woman touched my cheek. "I am the first Lena." I stared at her. "The original." She nodded. "The soul that opened the door." "Then why do you look like me?" "Because you're me." She touched my chest. Every life was a piece of my soul. I understood. The 9 lives. Yes. You gathered all of them. Yes. Why? To become whole. The first Lena looked at Mira. But she kept breaking the cycle. Mira whispered, "Because I loved her." The first Lena smiled. "I know." Then she looked at me. You have two choices. What are they? You can close the door and die. Yes. Or you can become the keeper. Forever. Yes. Mira stepped toward me. There is another choice. Everyone looked at her. Mira walked toward the door. I will take her place. I stared at her. No. She smiled. You have spent enough lives dying for me. Mira. This time I choose. She stepped toward the door. The darkness reached for her. I grabbed her hand. No. She looked at me. You told me you would find me in the next life. I will. Then let me go. I cannot. She smiled. That is why I love you. The door pulled her closer. I held tighter. The first Lena watched silently. Then she smiled. Now you understand. What? The curse was never meant to keep you apart. I looked at her. It was meant to teach you something. What? That love is not possession. The door opened wider. Mira was being pulled inside. I grabbed her with both hands. I am not letting you go. She cried. You have to. No. Lena. No. The first Lena raised her hand. Time stopped. Everything froze. Mira froze. The dead froze. The sun froze above the horizon. Only the first Lena and I could move. She looked at me. You can save her. How? You must remember the final memory. I have remembered everything. No. She shook her head. You remembered everything except the one memory you chose to forget. I felt afraid. What memory? She pointed toward Mira. The day you first met her. I frowned. I remember. No. She smiled. You remember the moment she smiled. But not what happened before. The world began moving again. Mira screamed. I closed my eyes. I searched through my memories. Past the first smile. Past the first meeting. Past the first life. And then I saw it. A little girl. Alone in a burning village. She was crying. A young woman found her. That woman was Mira. She lifted the child into her arms. The child looked at her. And smiled. I gasped. The child was me. But that was impossible. I was not supposed to exist yet. Then I heard Mira's voice. I found you. The memory continued. Mira looked toward the sky. Your soul has returned. She held the child closer. I will protect you. Then someone appeared behind her. My father. He whispered, do not. Mira turned. My father smiled. If you protect her, you will become her curse. Mira answered, I would rather become her curse than watch her die. The memory ended. I opened my eyes. Mira was still being pulled into the door. I finally understood. She had not cursed me because she wanted to erase our love. She cursed me because she had loved me before I was even old enough to know her. I reached toward her. Mira. She looked at me. I remember. Her eyes widened. What? Everything. I smiled. And I remember your first smile. She began crying. The door suddenly stopped pulling her. The dead became silent. The first Lena whispered, now choose. I looked at Mira. Then I looked at the door. And I finally knew what I had to do. I knew what I had to do. But knowing and accepting were two different things. The door was still open. Mira was still being pulled toward it. The dead were waiting. The first Lena stood beside me. You have 3 minutes. 3 minutes for what? To choose. What happens if I choose Mira? You lose everything. What happens if I choose myself? You become the keeper. And Mira? The first Lena looked at her. She lives. I stared at Mira. She shook her head. No. I stepped toward her. You wanted to sacrifice yourself. Yes. Then why are you afraid? Because I know what the keeper becomes. What? Someone who remembers everything. I frowned. That sounds like a gift. It is a prison. The first Lena nodded. The keeper remembers every death. Every memory. Every person. Every life. Every goodbye. Forever. I looked at Mira. You have seen all of this before. She nodded. Every time you died. And every time I forgot. Yes. And you remembered. Yes. I understood why she was tired. She had carried every version of me inside her for more than a century. Every smile. Every promise. Every death. Every time I forgot her. I touched her cheek. Then I am sorry. She smiled. You do not have to be. I do. Why? Because I finally understand what you sacrificed. Mira closed her eyes. I would do it again. The door screamed. 3 minutes became 2. The dead began moving. My mother stepped forward. Lena. I looked at her. Mom. You cannot save everyone. I know. You cannot undo death. I know. Then choose what you can save. I looked at Mira. She was the only person I wanted to save. But the village was burning. The keepers were dying. Thousands of souls were trapped between worlds. If I chose Mira, they would all remain trapped. If I chose the keeper, Mira would live. But I would lose myself. The first Lena whispered, there is one more choice. I turned. What? You can break the cycle. How? By giving the door something it has never had. What? A memory freely given. I did not understand. The first Lena pointed at Mira. Your happiest memory. I stared at her. Why? Because the door feeds on pain. I looked toward the darkness. And happiness? Destroys it. Mira looked at me. Do not. I smiled. You are always telling me not to do things. She laughed through her tears. You never listen. Not when it comes to you. I took her hands. Do you remember the white flowers? She nodded. The castle garden. Our wedding. Yes. I closed my eyes. The memory appeared. We were standing beneath a tree. White flowers covered the ground. Mira was wearing a simple white dress. I was holding her hand. There were no keepers. No curses. No death. Only us. I looked at her. If we had another life, where would you take me? She smiled. Somewhere quiet. Where? Near the sea. Why? Because I want to hear waves instead of ghosts. I laughed. She kissed my forehead. Then she whispered, I love you. The memory began fading. I opened my eyes. Mira was crying. What are you doing? Giving it away. No. I have spent my whole life trying to remember you. I kissed her hand. Now I will give the door the one memory I never want to lose. The door began pulling at me. The first Lena raised her hand. Once you give it away, you will never remember it again. I looked at Mira. Will I remember her? Yes. The wedding? Yes. The first time we met? Yes. Then what will I lose? She looked at me. The feeling. My heart stopped. You will remember that you loved her. But I will not remember what it felt like. No. I looked at Mira. She understood. No. She shook her head. I will not let you do this. I smiled. You already spent 100 years carrying my memories. That was my choice. This is mine. The door opened wider. The first Lena stepped back. Choose. I reached toward the darkness. A strand of light came from my chest. It was warm. Golden. It carried the memory of Mira's smile. The first time she smiled at me. The day we married. The night we danced beneath the white flowers. The moment she promised to find me. I gave it all to the door. The darkness screamed. The dead began glowing. The keepers fell to their knees. The red moon shattered. And Mira screamed my name. Lena. I turned toward her. For one final second, I felt everything. Love. Fear. Hope. Pain. Then it vanished. The door collapsed. The dead disappeared. The castle became silent. The sun rose. I fell into Mira's arms. She held me. I opened my eyes. Are you alive? She laughed and cried at the same time. Yes. Good. I looked around. The village was no longer burning. The keepers were gone. The dead were gone. The castle stood beneath a golden sky. Mira held my face. Do you remember? I frowned. Remember what? She looked terrified. Me. I smiled. Of course. She began crying. You remember? Everything. She laughed. Then I touched her cheek. But something is missing. Her smile disappeared. What? I remember loving you. Her eyes filled with tears. But I cannot remember what it felt like. She closed her eyes. I knew this would happen. I looked at her. Was it worth it? She smiled. Yes. Why? Because you're alive. I pulled her closer. I would choose you again. She laughed softly. You do not remember the memory you gave away. No. But you still chose me. I kissed her forehead. Maybe that is what love is. She looked at me. What? Remembering the person even when the feeling is gone. For the first time in 300 years, Mira smiled without sadness. But then something strange happened. The silver ring on my finger cracked. A tiny voice came from inside it. My own voice. But not the voice I knew. It whispered, "You chose wrong." Mira froze. The crack spread across the ring. And from inside came a single drop of black blood. Mira stepped backward. No. I looked at her. What is it? She stared at the ring. Her face had lost all color. The door did not close. What? She pointed toward the ground. A thin black line appeared beneath our feet. Then another. Then hundreds. The castle walls began shaking. Mira grabbed my hand. Lena. What? Her voice trembled. The door was never beneath the castle. I looked at the cracks. Then where was it? She looked directly into my eyes. Inside you. The silver ring shattered. And somewhere beneath my heart, something knocked from the inside. Once. Twice. 3 times. Then a voice whispered, "Let me out." The voice came from inside my chest. Let me out. I could feel something moving beneath my heart. Mira stepped backward. No. I looked at her. You know what this is? She nodded. The first soul. The first Lena? No. Her voice trembled. The thing that existed before Lena. I touched my chest. What is inside me? Mira looked toward the broken ring. The door. I could barely breathe. You said the door was destroyed. I thought it was. The voice inside me laughed. Mira grabbed my shoulders. Listen to me. I am listening. You must not answer it. What happens if I do? It wakes. What happens then? It remembers you. I frowned. I already remember myself. No. She shook her head. It remembers everything you were before you became human. A cold feeling spread through me. What was I? Mira looked away. Something made to guard the boundary between life and death. By whom? Your father. I stared at her. He created me? Yes. Why? Because he wanted to control death. The voice inside my chest whispered, not death. Mira closed her eyes. Silence. The voice laughed. She knows. I looked at Mira. What does it want? It wants to finish what your father started. What? Open every grave. The ground shook. Across the valley, graves began opening. The dead were rising. Not thousands. Millions. Mira grabbed my hand. We have to run. Where? Anywhere. That will not stop it. I know. Then why run? She looked at me. Because I am not ready to lose you again. We ran into the forest. Behind us, the castle disappeared beneath a wave of black smoke. The sky turned gray. Birds fled from the trees. The dead walked through the village. But they did not attack. They were searching. For me. We reached a small river. Mira stopped. We need to cross. I looked at the water. It was completely still. No reflection appeared. Not mine. Not Mira's. What is wrong with the river? It remembers the dead. What does that mean? If you cross it, you will see everyone you have ever lost. I stepped forward. Mira grabbed me. Do not. I need answers. You already know enough. No. I looked at her. I spent 300 years forgetting. I know. I will not spend another day afraid of the truth. I crossed the river. The moment my foot touched the water, the world changed. I was standing in a field. White flowers surrounded me. Mira was not there. A woman approached. My mother. She smiled. You came. Where am I? Inside your first memory. What does that mean? This is where your soul was born. She touched my forehead. I saw darkness. Then light. Then a shape. A child. But the child was not human. It was made of light. My father stood beside it. He said, "This will be the first keeper." My mother cried. You are creating a prison. I am creating immortality. The light entered the child's body. The child opened its eyes. They were mine. My mother whispered, "What have you done?" My father smiled. "Death will never control us again." The memory changed. Years passed. I grew older. I became human. I met Mira. I fell in love. Then I discovered the truth. I was not born. I was made. And my soul had been designed to contain the door. I returned to the present. My mother stood beside me. "You understand now?" I nodded. Why did Mira keep bringing me back? Because each resurrection weakened the prison. And the door. Each life brought it closer to opening. I looked at my mother. Then why did she keep doing it? My mother smiled. Because she believed love could change destiny. Could it? Maybe. She looked behind me. Mira was standing on the other side of the river. She was crying. My mother whispered, "Only one person can decide what you become." "Who?" "You." She disappeared. I crossed back. Mira immediately ran toward me. "What did you see?" "My mother." "What did she say?" "That I was created to be the keeper." Mira lowered her head. "You were. But you changed me." She looked up. "I tried. You made me human." "Yes. And then you fell in love with me." She smiled sadly. "That was not part of the plan." I laughed. "Good." She stared at me. I took her hand. "I am not going to become what my father created." "Then what will you become?" "Whatever I choose." The voice inside me spoke again. "You cannot choose." I closed my eyes. "Who are you?" "I am the first." "The first what?" "The first version of you." I opened my eyes. A woman stood across the river. She looked like me, but her eyes were silver. Her skin glowed faintly. Mira whispered, "She should not exist." The woman smiled. "I exist because you forgot me." I stepped closer. "What do you want?" "To go home." "Where is home?" She pointed toward my chest. "Inside you." I shook my head. "You cannot stay." "I cannot leave." "Then what happens?" She smiled. "You die." Mira stepped between us. "No." The first Lena looked at her. "You always interfere." "I will always interfere." The first Lena laughed. "You have already killed her 9 times. Mira's face fell. "And you still believe you can save her?" I looked at Mira. "She is right." Mira looked at me. "No. If I am the door, then killing me would close it." Mira shook her head. "I will not kill you again." "Then what do we do?" She looked at the first Lena. The first Lena smiled. "Finally." She raised her hand. The river turned black. The sky split open. And millions of dead voices screamed my name. The first Lena whispered, "There is only one way to separate us." I stepped forward. "Tell me." "You must enter the place where your first memory began." "Where?" "Inside your own soul." Mira grabbed my hand. "Do not go." I looked at her. "If I do not, the dead will return. If you go, you may never come back." I smiled. "You once told me you would find me in every life." She began crying. "I did. Then find me again." I stepped toward the first Lena. She opened her arms. Darkness swallowed us both. The last thing I heard was Mira screaming my name. Then I opened my eyes. I was standing in a world made entirely of memories. And in front of me stood every version of myself. 9 Lenas. 9 lives. 9 deaths. All staring at me. Then the first one smiled. "Choose which one gets to live." I looked at the 9 women. And realized something terrifying. One of them was Mira. There were 9 of us. 9 Lenas. 9 lives. 9 deaths. 9 memories standing in front of me. But one of them was different. She was not wearing my face. She was wearing Mira's. I stared at her. "No." She smiled. "Yes." I stepped closer. "How?" The first Lena answered. "Because you were never alone inside your soul." The Mira standing among the 9 lives looked at me. Her eyes were full of tears. I was there too. I shook my head. "You are not real." She smiled sadly. "I said the same thing the first time I saw you." The memories around us began moving. I saw the first life. Lena. Then the second. A healer. The third. A soldier. The fourth. A thief. The fifth. A queen. The sixth. A prisoner. The seventh. A traveler. The eighth. A woman who died before she could find Mira. And the ninth. Me. The life I was living now. But there was something connecting every life. Mira. She appeared in every memory. Sometimes she was young. Sometimes old. Sometimes human. Sometimes a witch. But always there. Always searching. Always waiting. I looked at her. You were reborn too. The Mira among the memories nodded. Every time you returned, I followed. Then why did you remember? Because I was never cursed. I turned toward the first Lena. She could remember everything? Yes. Why? Because the curse was designed for you. I looked at Mira. Why did you let me forget? Because every memory made you weaker. How? The more you remembered your past lives, the more the first Lena awakened. I looked at the silver-eyed version of myself. What happens if she awakens completely? The first Lena smiled. I become whole. And then, I become the keeper. I understood. The keeper was not a prison. It was a person. The first Lena had been trapped inside every version of me. Every life. Every death. Every rebirth. She had been waiting to become whole again. I looked at the 9 Lenas. What happens to them? They disappear. All of them. Yes. And Mira. The first Lena pointed toward the Mira among the memories. She disappears too. I stepped forward. No. The first Lena smiled. Then choose. I looked at the 9 versions of myself. One was crying. One was angry. One was smiling. One was covered in blood. One was holding a child. One was wearing a crown. One was dying. One was holding Mira's hand. And one was me. I realized something. They were not different people. They were pieces of me. Every fear. Every dream. Every mistake. Every love. I turned toward the first Lena. I will not choose. Her smile disappeared. You must. No. You cannot save everyone. I do not have to. She stared at me. I only have to stop fighting myself. The world became silent. I stepped toward the 9 Lenas. I remember all of you. The first life stepped forward. I remember you. The healer came next. I remember you. The soldier. I remember you. The thief. I remember you. The queen. I remember you. The prisoner. I remember you. The traveler. I remember you. The 8th. I remember you. Then I looked at myself. I remember me. One by one, they began disappearing. Not screaming. Not dying. They became light. The light entered my chest. I felt every memory. But this time, they did not hurt. They became part of me. The first Lena remained. She stood alone. Her silver eyes were no longer cold. They were afraid. You cannot erase me. I know. You cannot kill me. I know. Then what will you do? I stepped closer. I will accept you. She stared at me. Why? Because you're me. She began crying. I only wanted to live. I know. I only wanted to be free. I know. I only wanted someone to love me. I reached out my hand. I love you. She looked at me. Do you mean that? Yes. She took my hand. The moment our fingers touched, the entire world exploded with light. I felt something leave my chest. The door. The darkness. The ancient magic. All of it. The first Lena smiled. Thank you. Then she disappeared. I woke up on the riverbank. Mira was holding me. She was screaming my name. Lena. I opened my eyes. She froze. Then she started crying. You came back. I smiled. I told you. She hugged me. I held her tightly. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then Mira pulled away. Are you still you? I laughed. I think so. What do you remember? Everything. Her expression changed. Everything. I nodded. Every life. Every death. Yes. She looked terrified. Are you in pain? I shook my head. No. Why? Because I finally stopped running from myself. She touched my face. What happened to the door? I looked toward the river. The water was clear again. There is no door. Mira stared at me. You closed it. No. I smiled. I became the door. Her face went pale. What? I took her hand. Not a prison. Then what? A choice. The sky began turning golden. The dead were gone. The keepers were gone. The castle was gone. The world was quiet. For the first time in centuries, there was no war between life and death. Mira looked at me. What happens now? I smiled. Now we live. She laughed. Just live. Yes. What about magic? Forget it. The dead? Let them rest. The keepers? Let them disappear. And us? I squeezed her hand. Us. She smiled. Then she kissed me. It was not the kiss from our wedding. Not the kiss from our first life. Not the kiss from any memory. It was new. And somehow, that made it perfect. We left the river together. We walked until we reached the sea. Mira had once told me she wanted somewhere quiet. Somewhere she could hear waves instead of ghosts. So I took her there. We built a small house beside the water. Mira stopped using magic. I stopped looking for memories. We lived quietly. Years passed. Then one evening, Mira sat beside me on the beach. She leaned against my shoulder. Do you remember the white flowers? I thought for a moment. No. She smiled. You gave that memory away. I remember that. Do you regret it? I looked at her. No. Why? Because I have something better. What? I turned toward her. A memory I am making right now. She smiled. The same smile. The one I had forgotten the feeling of. But this time, I did not need magic to remember it. I reached for her hand. I think I understand now. Understand what? The witch cursed me to forget you. Mira laughed. That sounds terrible. It was. And yet, I kissed her hand. I remembered your smile anyway. She rested her head against my shoulder. The sun disappeared beyond the sea. For once, there were no ghosts. No keepers. No curses. No doors. Only two women sitting beside the water. And for the first time in 300 years, I was not trying to remember my past. I was finally living my future. But deep beneath the sea, something ancient opened its eyes. And a voice whispered, Lena. I turned toward the water. Mira noticed. What is it? I stared at the waves. I do not know. The voice came again. This time, it was closer. You forgot one thing. I stood. Mira grabbed my hand. What? The sea began glowing silver. A figure appeared beneath the waves. A woman. She had my face. But her eyes were golden. Mira whispered, no. I looked at her. Who is that? She shook her head. I thought she was dead. The woman beneath the water smiled. Then she raised one hand. And the sea parted. She whispered, I am the 10th life. My heart stopped. Because I suddenly remembered something I had never remembered before. There were never 9 lives. There had always been 10. And the 10th had been waiting for us beneath the sea. The sea had opened. Mira stood beside me, frozen. The woman beneath the water looked exactly like me. But there was something different about her. She looked peaceful. Not angry. Not dangerous. Almost sad. She stepped out of the water. Her clothes were made of silver light. Her golden eyes never left mine. I am the 10th life. I looked at Mira. You knew about her. Mira shook her head. No. Then why are you afraid? Because I thought she was dead. The 10th Lena smiled. I was never dead. She looked at me. I was waiting. For what? For you to become strong enough to remember me. I stepped closer. Who are you? She touched my chest. The life you never lived. A memory flashed through my mind. I was standing beside Mira. We were older. Much older. The world around us was dying. Mira was holding my hand. I was crying. I cannot do this. Mira smiled. You can. What if I forget you? You will not. What if I forget myself? Then I will remember for you. The memory vanished. I looked at Mira. You promised me that. She was crying. I did. The 10th Lena smiled. But you broke that promise. Mira lowered her head. I know. I turned toward her. What happened? She took a breath. The 10th life was supposed to be the final one. Why? Because after the 9th death, your soul was supposed to disappear. But it did not. No. What happened? Mira looked toward the sea. I could not accept it. She had found a way to preserve the final fragment of my soul. She had hidden it beneath the sea, away from the keepers, away from the door, away from death. But why? Because that fragment was different. How? It remembered nothing. I looked at the 10th Lena. She smiled. I was innocent. Mira nodded. You had no memories of pain. No memories of death. No memories of me. The 10th Lena looked at Mira. And that was the problem. I understood. If she had no memories of me, she could live. Yes. Then why bring her back now? Mira looked at me. Because the curse is gone. The 10th Lena stepped closer. And because you're whole. She touched my hand. The moment she did, I felt warmth. Not pain. Not fear. Love. A simple feeling. Pure and untouched. I suddenly understood. The 10th life was not another version of me. She was the part of me that had never experienced loss. The part that still believed love could exist without sacrifice. The part one had buried beneath centuries of memories. I looked at Mira. You saved her. Mira smiled. I saved you. The 10th Lena laughed. For once, the witch is telling the truth. I smiled. Then the sea began glowing brighter. Mira stepped back. What is happening? The 10th Lena looked toward the horizon. The old world is ending. What old world? The world ruled by death. The sky filled with silver light. Everywhere we looked, the shadows disappeared. The graves closed. The last traces of the keepers vanished. The magic that had haunted our lives began fading. Mira stared at her hands. Her magic was disappearing. She looked terrified. I am losing it. I held her hand. Is that bad? She smiled. No. She looked at me. I have wanted this for a very long time. The 10th Lena began fading too. I reached for her. Wait. She smiled. I was never meant to stay. Then why did you come? To give you something. What? She touched my forehead. A single memory entered my mind. It was the first time Mira smiled at me. But this time, I felt everything. The warmth. The safety. The happiness. The quiet certainty that I had found home. I began crying. Mira looked at me. What did she give you? I smiled. Your smile. She laughed through her tears. I thought you already remembered it. I remembered what it looked like. I touched her face. Now I remember what it felt like. The 10th Lena disappeared. The sea became calm. The silver light faded. And silence returned. Mira stood beside me. No magic. No curse. No immortality. Just Mira. Just me. Two ordinary women. For the first time. She looked at me. What do we do now? I smiled. Whatever we want. She laughed. That sounds dangerous. It probably is. She took my hand. Where will we go? I looked toward the horizon. Somewhere quiet. Near the sea. Definitely. She leaned against me. And what will we do? Grow old. Mira smiled. I like that. We built our home beside the water. Years passed. Myra's hair slowly turned silver. Mine did too. We watched sunsets together. We argued over small things. We cooked terrible meals. We laughed. We slept beneath the sound of waves. Sometimes, Mira would wake from a nightmare. I would hold her until she fell asleep again. Sometimes, I would dream of the lives I had lived. But I no longer feared them. They were not prisons anymore. They were stories. Stories that belonged to me. One evening, many years later, Mira and I sat on the beach. She was old. So was I. She rested her head against my shoulder. Are you afraid? I asked. She smiled. A little. Of death. Of leaving you. I took her hand. You will not. She looked at me. How do you know? Because I finally understand. Understand what? Love was never about remembering every moment. I kissed her forehead. It was about choosing the person again. She smiled. And would you choose me again? I looked into her eyes. Every time. She closed her eyes. Her breathing became quiet. Then quieter. I held her hand. And when the sun disappeared beneath the sea, Mira was gone. I cried. For the first time in centuries, I allowed myself to cry. But I did not use magic. I did not open a door. I did not bargain with the dead. I simply remembered her. The next morning, I walked to the beach. I saw white flowers growing beside the water. I smiled. Mira had never planted them. Yet they were there. I touched one. And I heard her voice. Soft. Familiar. Do you remember me? I closed my eyes. Yes. The wind moved through the flowers. Her voice whispered again. Do you remember my smile? I smiled. Yes. And what did it feel like? I placed my hand over my heart. Like coming home. The wind became still. The voice disappeared. But I was not afraid. Because I finally understood the truth. The witch had cursed me to forget her. The curse had failed. Not because magic was weak. Not because fate was kind. But because some loves do not live inside memories. They live inside choices. I had forgotten Mira's name once. I had forgotten her face. I had forgotten our wedding. I had forgotten every life we shared. Yet somehow, every time destiny gave me the choice, I chose her. Again. And again. And again. That was the miracle. Not that I remembered her. But that even when I forgot everything, my heart remembered what mattered. Her smile. Her kindness. Her hand in mine. The feeling of being home. Years later, when my own time finally came, I lay beneath the same tree where our first wedding had taken place. White flowers covered the ground. I closed my eyes. And for the first time, I was not afraid of forgetting. Because somewhere beyond memory, beyond magic, beyond life and death, I knew she would be waiting. I heard footsteps. Then a familiar voice. You took your time. I opened my eyes. Mira stood beneath the tree. Young again. Smiling. I laughed. I remembered your smile. She held out her hand. I knew you would. I took it. And when our fingers touched, I remembered everything. Not 9 lives. Not 10. Not 300 years. Only one moment. The moment she smiled at me for the first time. And I realized that was all I had ever needed. Mira looked at me. Ready? I smiled. Always. Together, we walked toward the light. No curse followed us. No keeper waited. No door opened. There was only the road ahead. And 2 women who had spent 300 years finding each other. This time, they did not have to remember. They simply knew. They were home.